Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dividends, the show for and about your College of Business. Kind of a sad show today. Eric Hill, after leading the Entrepreneurship Center for almost about a decade, is stepping down. So we're going to spend some time with him and talk about some of the highlights of his tenure at the Center for Entrepreneurship and Outreach at Mississippi State. Eric, good to see you.
Good to see you, Jeffrey.
I know you're excited about your new venture, and we'll talk a bit about that, but we need to look back and reflect a little bit on your time here. How long's it been?
It's just about 10 and a half years, and man, really something that's still hard to talk about.
So you were perhaps the youngest director in the history of Mississippi State. I haven't found anyone younger. So when you took over the East Center, how old were you?
I think I was 24 at the time, and
barely older than some students.
Yeah. Well, and I think that helped because it kind of gave some insight. I had enough fresh memory of what it was like to be a student, and having had a business in college. So, I think it actually was sort of serendipitous that it was a unique perspective.
Yeah. So we are now 100+ startups later, with a valuation of, I would imagine, starting to creep up towards $40 million. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I was looking at it, and we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,020 deals that we worked on in that time, helped them raise $7.2 million.
Well, you have all but single-handedly put the East Center on the map.
Yeah.
And it has gotten statewide attention, it has gotten SEC-wide attention, it has gotten national attention. What do you attribute the success to?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I mean, first of all, you give me a lot of credit when there's a massive team. I like to say that the East Center looks completely different today, but what's amazing is the impact it's had across campus, because I think the university as a whole is speaking about entrepreneurship in a completely different way than it was, and the East Center has sort of been the heartbeat of that. And it represents a culture, and because of that culture, there's a huge team of alums, business owners, faculty, kind of cross-discipline. But I think what's been our guiding North Star has been a focus on forming real companies that compete in the market and are judged by real customers. And that concrete laser focus on making it real, I think, has earned us the reputation that we've had, and created a first place winning team in SEC and all the other candy that you threw on that.
Well, and I think the sweet spot is finding the sweet spot between the right amount of academic input and then the right amount of practitioner, CEO input, folks who have started a business. And it's sometimes tough to find that balance, don't you think?
100%. But the interesting thing that I think MSU has dialed in really well is that it's a learning process, and we recognize the learning process, and that, yeah, not every venture that walks in is going to be the next multi-million-dollar company, but that student is going to learn something on the journey of exploring that. And I think from the faculty side, from the business leader side, there's a concrete understanding of that process, and that it's really about what the material the student's learning. It's less about the sort of theory, and it's applying it in a very real sense, and that's where the learning's gained from.
So what made you decide to move on?
Well, my mother always said growing up that you always have to know when to leave a party. And in the case of the Entrepreneurship Center, I mean, we took it from a facility standpoint, 800 square feet buried in another department, to its own department with 4 sites and 12,000 square feet. We have a staff that has 3 or 4 full-time people, and part-time is, I think, 18 people working for the team. We've got financial support in a way that we've never had. We have multiple grants, and we have now success stories. So honestly, it just felt like this was the right time. Entrepreneurship's on a rocket ship at Mississippi State, and I wanted to get it to that point, and then now it's time to sort of figure out what's next for the Mississippi startup space, and where can I apply my skills in a different way for that. So.
Well, and we'd be remiss if we didn't thank our network of alums who have invested their money, their time, and their wisdom into the East Center. I mean, the East Center just couldn't exist without them. No,
and I mean, there are just too many people that have supported the center over the years. I really use the expression, it's a movement. It's not just a program. It's truly a movement. But there's two people that I think deserve absolute pointing out, and that's Boyce Adams. He was one of the first people in the College of Business who really bought into the vision, an alum and successful business owner, and then Mr. Wade Patterson, who I jokingly refer to as the executive director. But his time and wisdom in helping these companies really reach the market has been invaluable. So.
Well, and then you've got guys like R.J. Reed who fund our student workers. Right?
Oh my goodness, yes, and the list goes on and on. We've got so many folks that have made it possible, and we're going to talk soon about the, new expansion here, and there's even more that have bought into that, and it's like I said, it's a movement, and it's been fun to be the caretaker of that movement over that time.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about where you're headed. We're going to talk about Startup Summit, and we're going to talk about the big expansion at the E-Center. So we have lots to talk about, and we'll be back with that in just a moment.
It's been said that every dream has a destiny. That's why at Mississippi State University, our Center for Entrepreneurship and Outreach is encouraging big ideas every day. In fact, our world-renowned process of idea development and immersive learning is so strong that we're unleashing more than 100 startups and spin-offs a year and generating nearly $21 million in annual income for the Mississippi economy. Graduates of the E-Center are realizing success by revolutionizing marketing through technology, solving problems and building efficiencies through innovation, and lighting up lives through play and learning. These and other young innovators are adding hometown jobs, spurring growth in their local communities, and inspiring others to take chances and put their dreams into action. Imagining the possible and achieving it. Mississippi State University.
Welcome back, everyone. Talking with Eric Hill, who has been at the helm of the E-Center for about a decade now. He's moving on, but before that, we've got some interesting things to discuss. One of which, the Startup Summit in April, has really grown to be quite a competition. Tell the folks about that.
Oh, it has. I mean, we just got our final application count in. We got 52 teams that are going to be joining us. So that is just tremendous. I don't think people always realize these are 52 unique ideas founded by students that are competing for a chance to win some money.
How much money?
Total of $40,000, all private dollars from alumni, and they'll compete in multiple little divisions, and those divisions filter to a final, and the competition has yielded some success. I mean, when I think back to our venture portfolio, almost all of them placed in Startup Summit at some point.
Well, it's a neat week-long event, and this one's even going to be more special because we're bringing back some special guests who were here about when we kicked off the E-Center, the founders of Barefoot Wine, and they're going to be judges as well as keynote speakers.
Yeah, really excited. I mean, so they're open to the public. We have it every evening from usually 3:30 or so until 8. These competitions are in the atrium of McCool Hall. Mm-hmm. And then, we'll do our grand opening of the center, and the keynote speakers there are the founders of Barefoot Wine, so we're excited to have them back.
And we actually use their book in the classroom because they were the #1 wine brand in the world and never owned a winery. It is an incredible American entrepreneurial story,
yes.
And they're very generous with their time, and they love interacting with the students, so really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But we mentioned the expansion, so let's talk for a bit about the E-Center. Is growing, almost doubling in size.
Yeah, just tremendous. I mean, we had in 2016 we built this beautiful 2,000 square foot facility in McCool Hall on the first floor, and anytime you go into it, it's just packed with students. And because there's multiple deals happening and multiple meetings, the former Dean Sharon Oswald gave us the permission to expand it. So we're adding another roughly 2,000 square feet. But it's got some unique elements. So what you're seeing on screen is we're doing some displays where people can interact with startups that have come out of the E-Center. And it really drives to this believe it idea that I think is so critical in Mississippi, is that so many people, students, look at Mississippi as being a disadvantage. And this is trying to show them, hey, here's another student that made it, now is a multi-million-dollar company, and we wanted that on fresh display there. So we're adding some meeting space, we're expanding our student team space, and we're setting up this sort of gallery space for startups.
Well, it's going to be an exciting time, and for you, it has to be gratifying to know the lasting impression you're going to have, not just with these students, but just on Mississippi State University as well. I mean, you really crafted the look and feel of entrepreneurship at Mississippi State and have done an excellent job.
Oh, it's just really rewarding. I mean, I have 2 degrees from Mississippi State, gave 10 and a half years of service here, and I bleed maroon and white and love this place. And so
Yeah.
it's exciting.
Well,
It really is.
it begs the question, you wouldn't leave for just any offer, because I know that folks have been trying to hire you away from the East Center for years. I know that firsthand. So tell us where you're going and what's appealing about that.
Yeah, well, it caught me completely off guard because it was never something I even fathomed as possible, but I'm actually going to join Glow as their new Chief Operating Officer and helping them transition a moment in that company through some serious growth that they're having. And so, you know, that's just, for me, when thinking about it, it's really what's next. We've built this portfolio of $40 million of companies. All of them are doing great, but it's time to take one of those to the moon. And that's what really excited me about it. We've got a lot of Mississippi State alumni involved in that company, and I think showing a monumental success like that to the community is what could sort of set this on fire.
I agree, and it's the Glow of the little cubes they use now for as children's sensory toys, educational sensory toys, and they've been picked up by Sesame Street. They've been in the New York Times, and they are really poised for the stratosphere. And they approached Eric and said, "Look, if anybody can get us there, it's you." So kudos to you, not just for the Glow thing, but for all you have done. You have truly, truly made a lasting impression at Mississippi State, and for that, you will be missed. we will definitely miss you.
Thank you. Well, I'll still be involved, and that's the exciting thing about this job is it's really what's next for Mississippi State and entrepreneurship is let's take one of these to the moon, and then hopefully that will in itself become a beacon for continuing the journey that we've built.
Well, the best of luck to you.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this edition of Dividends. We appreciate you being with us, and we'll see you next time.